Welcome back, everyone, to Ambii.Alert Podcast, where I seek and find the next level athlete. Today, I have Maya Singletary. She is a pro track and field athlete. She is from Rayford, North Carolina, and she also ran at Hope County High School. And she also attended UNC Charlotte, where she's also on the track and field team here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, welcome, Maya Singletary.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's my day off, but hey, I'm here to spend it with my cousin, who I love so much. So I wouldn't even want it any other way. So
yeah. So I know you ran at the Clemson meet this past Friday, Valentine's Day. So tell me a little bit about how that day went, race wise, and just mentally. How did you prepare for the meet and get settled in?
Yeah, so we had the track meet at Clemson February 14th. It was my 400 opener. In this season, I ran already the 600, the 300, and we done ran our 4x4 relay about 2 or 3 times. So I was trying to make sure I was preparing for this opener because this opener would be a qualifying time that I would use for USA's next week. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go in here prepared, ready, mentally, but mainly just to have fun. I've been preparing for it these past 6 months, and I was like, okay, my main goal was to get like a 51, but I didn't get that, but I was still proud of how I did that day, and small little tweaks. You know how indoor is. It's a little mistake, so that can be big. So I was like, okay, it's okay. We'll just brush this off. We qualify for USA, so we'll do much better next week.
Yeah, you will. I'm praying for it, and a lot of people don't understand. I'm looking in the camera. A lot of people do not understand how hard it is to get your time down in track and field.
Yes.
I seen online the other days. Janisha Ford ran a 22 or something, and people were like, it's going to be easier for her to get her time down. No, it's not easy. It's hard to get a millisecond down. So I commend you for that. You'll get to 51. You'll get there.
She's from Fayetteville.
Yeah, I see.
Yes. I was like, from Fayetteville, I was like, every time I see her, I'm like, what's up, Fayetteville? What's up, cousin? That's cousin. Like, oh my goodness. I love it though. She's so sweet. Like, she's just an overall good person. She's working hard, so I love that for her.
Yeah, we love the track girlies.
Yes.
So I know we focus on the 400, but I know you run the 200 here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what does a 200 do for your food? For your 400, I know what it does, but tell the audience what it does for your 400.
Yeah, so the 200 really helps you kind of with that acceleration, aggressiveness that you need in the first part of your 400, which I severely lack. But this season we're working on, any issues and things I may have, patience. So the 200 really helps with my start. And my coach always says, like, you need to be aggressive. But I'm just like, I get out, then I get aggressive. Mm-hmm. So this year I want to make sure I focus on my first part of my 200 because I already know I have the strength. I'm mainly a strength runner. Yeah. So I want to focus on that first, 10 to 12 steps that they say. Get out and have maybe like a good low time, maybe like a good 23 high, 24 low. So I could be able to carry that in the rest of my second part of my race to get like a 26 high, 27 low. Really.
Yeah. Once you hit that 200 and you had a good mark, you cruising.
Yeah, it's just cruising. Straight.
But if you get out, I ran the 400 a little bit in high school. And I used to get out like a snail. And I was like, well, by the time I hit the 200, it was just too late because you already got out too slow.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. So what inspired you to start running track?
Well, it's actually track was like the last sport that I did. In middle school, I did volleyball, basketball, soccer. So me and my best friend since pre-K, me and her would just say like, oh, let's just run track and field just to run it. Let's just see. And she was doing hurdles and I didn't even do actually the 400 in middle school. I ran actually the 400 one time. So I started running track in 8th grade, and I was running a 100, 200, and 4x2, 4x1 in middle school? I was running those events, and how I came about the 400, it was like our last little bit of meet, and in middle school, you run for points for your team. So our main girl who would run the 400, she was sick. So my coach is like, Maya, I want you to run the 400. So I said, me being a team person, I was like, okay, let's do 400. Let me go out there, And I kid y'all not, I'm running the first part of the 100, and I literally turned to the girl right beside me while running, and I want to throw up on her because it hurt so bad. And I told my coach, I said, Coach, please don't ever in your life put me in the 400 ever again. But what was crazy was the high school coach. She was actually watching me that meet. I ran the 4, ran the 1, 2 in a relay, and she saw me, and I could literally hear her across the way, and was like, "I want her on my team. I want her there." And I'm like, "No, no, no." I was like, "No, I'm not doing this again. I'm not ever doing the 400." And then like once I got to high school, I saw her again because actually the high school coach, her daughter used to sing praise and worship at my church.
Oh,
So I
okay.
knew her and her mom. So I was like, okay, I might try, track again and see. And I said to myself, I wasn't ever gonna do the 400 again. And look at me now, I'm
Look at you
doing
now, like
professionally 400.
400 is it's a beast. Like
It
it's
is.
literally, I would say the 400 is the hardest rate, but hurdles is hard too.
Yeah, yes.
Hurdles is very
Hurdles is a
hard.
different beast, huh? 400 hurdles, you people have that. I don't care, short hurdles too. I don't have the hand-eye coordination or the pride for hurdles. And my coach ever say, "I want you with the 400 hurdles," I'm like, "Are you sure? I'll run a 1600."
Yeah,
I
no,
do hurdles. No.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, the
I run
pride.
800.
I give it to them. Y'all have enough pride because if I tip my little foot and hit that track, I'm like, I'm gonna walk. Other people will keep going. I'm gonna walk this way.
That is funny. But so who are your biggest influences? Like when it comes to track, who do you look up to?
There's I mainly God is the main person I look up to, but my main kind of inspiration, I never really was interested in track. I was just interested in her story, Wilma Rudolph.
Oh, okay.
I was interested in her story because, she had polio and she was able to come about of that and, win all the 3 gold medals that she had. And I was like, dang, if she can, come from polio and the doctors tell her this and that, and God has a different story for her, then it's like, what can I do? I shouldn't have anything to hold me back.
Exactly.
And then that's when I kind of got back, into track. But learning her story and how she came about, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I can do track, see how it is. Just might as well just see what I can do. I played other sports, did other things. And, I was like, the sky's the limit, basically.
Yeah. And that's a great story because I know like in college, high school as well, like you're kind of looked at as like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. But I realized when I was in college, like probably like my junior year, like, so what? Like everything's up to God. Like if he wants you to do this, then he's gonna make a way for you to do this.
Exactly.
Maybe not right now.
Yes.
But it's gonna come if that's in his plan for you.
Exactly.
So I'm inspired by your inspiration because with her coming back from polio, it's like, dang, she can do it.
I know. I was like, there's nothing I complain about. I was like, dang, I might be able to just see what I could do. And hey, if God allows it, God allows it. It's on His time, and that'd be a main thing too. Like I said, I'm practicing this patience because it's His. We always want it our time. Like I wanted that 51 or 51 lower at that meet, this Friday, and I was like, well, I got 52.97, and it was just little mistakes that I had. But like I said, I was like, okay, I cried a little bit, I was upset, but I was like, you know what, God has a bigger plan. It's on His time. I never want to rush it based on Him because I can't always trust my own will. It's always got to be on His will.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to cry before and after, maybe during.
It's a cleanse. Exactly. It's a cleanse. It's a cleanse. God got to cleanse you because I just was sitting there. I got off. I told my teammate Quinier, I was like, I'm so upset. She was like, why? I was like, because I wanted 51. Like I worked so hard. And it's like, but I know the season's not over with. So I don't, like I said, track season lasts until what, September? Basically.
Literally, we run all year long.
You don't have no weekend. You don't have no summer. Like, I haven't had a summer or a weekend since, what, middle school?
Like, for real, people don't understand. Like, I believe track is one of, like, the top 5 hardest sports.
Yes.
And we're not top 3. We're probably top 2. Like, we train all year. We run all year. Like, when it's hard to get the times down. And when you don't get your time down, you're really hard on yourself.
Yes.
And it's like, you think about it like the entire week until you run the time. It's
Literally.
just a lot going on with track.
You got so much of things going on. I'm like, I gotta get the time. I gotta get this. Make sure you hit this. You gotta have that race plan. You always think about your race plan in your mind. You don't never want to tweak it when you get to the meet because if you tweak it then it's like,
it's too late.
It's too late.
don't even
do it.
Do nothing.
And like the transition from like college to pro has really been a big difference because in college, you train, and then you're mainly like, all right, performance. Like you're all year round. Whereas in professionals, like you train way more than you do performance. And I had to learn that my first rookie year. I was like, dang, I keep training and training. I'm like, when am I going to go out to the meet? But it's like in college, you have a set standard. Like, all right, you got conference, regionals,
Yes.
nationals, try to get to these certain meets. You got to hit these marks or you won't be let into the meet. But it's like in professional, it's like, okay, like you train. It's like, all right, you might hit these performances. You might go to these meets, like 2 or 3 meets really. And then you got to go to the big championship. So that's a big focus mind shift I had to learn my first rookie year. But that first rookie year was, woo, it was, I
Yeah.
will say, it was something, Lordy.
So when you were in high school, you only ran track. You didn't do any other sport in high school, right?
I did, what did I do? Do volleyball, basketball. Yeah, volleyball and basketball were the two, and cross country. But that was like my
Right.
senior year, though. Senior
Yeah.
year. Yeah, I'm not no cross country runner, y'all. That was just to get the Women's of the Year award. That's
Yeah. No, high school I did cheer, track, a little teeny bit of cross country,
yeah.
um, and softball, sadly. But
I
I only
want-
ran the ball for them.
Really? I
Yeah.
wanted to try softball in middle school, but I think softball and soccer were the same season. And my mom was like, all right, whichever one is cheaper, you got to do. And I was
Yeah.
like, soccer.
We went out. Me and my dad went out and bought like all the gear for softball. My mom played softball in high school, and she was
Okay.
like that girl in track and basketball. But we went out and bought all the gear for softball, and I was just like, I'm just only running bases for them because like nobody on the team was fast. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna just do that and just go about my day. But going into high school, leaving high school and becoming a freshman in college, like how was that transition from high school to college? Like when it came to academics, when it came like mentally, physically, like how were you able to balance all of that? Like, relationships, friendships, track, academics,
Yeah.
mental. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's a lot,
It
but how are you able to balance that coming from high school and then going to UNC Charlotte, which is in a big city?
Yes. Which was a really big helpful person was my high school coach, Takara McLaughlin. She actually went to UNC Charlotte. That's actually how I knew about Charlotte and knew about the team because Charlotte allows for high schools to run on their track, run on certain meets. So she would always take me there, and I was always compete against the college girls, and I was trying to stack up, I'd be at least like probably be top 10 or top 20 in those meets, but she really was a helpful guide for me. She was like, look, you're not going to be like no regular student. You're not going to have time to do X, Y, and Z. You can fit it in there, but it will be a lot. But I always say, like I said, if God always, can put so much on us, but he wouldn't put too much on us that we can't handle.
Right,
So
yeah.
the transition really wasn't as bad as in workouts and like academics because, they try to make sure our advisors that, we have enough time to do what we need. And I made sure to make my schedule where I was able to still study enough I needed, still participate in programs and events that I wanted to do, still volunteer, still make sure, I try to hang out with my friends. It was a lot freshman year because my mom, I'm my only child. So going back home was something. I say I probably went home a lot though my freshman year. It was only 2 hours away from home. So it wasn't really that far, Me and my car Biscuit, we took that drive up and down to Biscuit. I called her Biscuit because she white, but the little book Biscuit, the little dog Biscuit, that old book. That's why I call my old Honda Civic. But I drove up and down that road 2 hours, almost not every weekend, but enough times, out of the season. So we're in season, and my family, my friends knew like, okay, she's in season. She won't be able to come home as much because weekends are taken up, but. I still made sure, like, I wanted college to be how I wanted. I didn't want to make like, oh, I'm just an athlete. I wanted to make sure I was a student athlete. So it was a lot, doing, working and, being on programs and events and being in clubs, organizations, volunteering. But I wanted to, at least say I lived better than how I talked. That's how my grandma said, that she wrote. She wanted to live better than how she talked. So I want, make sure I was able to live out my college years. Freshman year was tough, but it was a lot. It was a lot, especially when I first had my first injury ever, my freshman year, at least 5 days before our indoor track meet. I had a hamstring strain. We were doing blocks. And I was telling my coach, like, hey, it's a little cold, you know how it be sometimes where it's like the sun is out, but it's not really out.
But it's still chilly.
Still chilly.
You're still cold.
Like, I was literally like this, dressed like this. And I told him, like, hey, I think, do another block. And, college, your freshman year, you want to listen to your coach. You don't want to be the freshman that's overstepping and everything,
Yes.
But he was like, no, you should do another block. And I did another block. And As soon as I was running, it was a good block start, but I felt a pop while I was running, and I literally like fell on my hands and tumbled. And I'm just sitting on the ground like, ugh, I did this in front of my teammates. Like, they're going to kick me off the team. I was like, no, I didn't know about injury, but the issue that I did have was I wasn't stretching enough in high school. And my high school coach, Takar, would tell me, you need to stretch, because it wasn't, the difference in workouts wasn't so bad on my body, but it was more intensified. So I should have been stretching like I should have. Make sure y'all stretch every time. Mobility, dynamic, and static. But, I had that hamstring strain, and it took me about 3 months to come back from that. So I did come back, and I was able to get, I want to say, 4th or 5th in our indoor conference in the 400. So I can just only imagine if I actually would have been stretching and on top of myself, freshman year, what I needed to do, I probably would have made, first or second on the podium for indoor conference 400.
Yeah.
But freshman year, it was tough. It was a lot. But, I really enjoyed it. Who was very helpful, too, in that journey was my roommates. They were actually my teammates, too. Ashlyn, Kaylin, Bailey, they're beautiful girl. They're a godsend because, Lord, if I didn't have them with me my freshman year or even beyond, I'm Lord. I was like, I was just so helpful for them and thankful. They were always so encouraging, always loving, and always just someone I can go lean and someone to talk to and everything. And we still talk now. Like, we still have the same group chat that we did freshman year. It was so funny. We named our group chat like somebody make a name. And nobody
made a name
Somebody
yet.
make a name and nobody still made a name in the group chat. Like, they're still so helpful even now, with being, even though I don't get to really see them as much, I still try to take the time to go and see them because they were really a big, crucial, helpful, part in my college years.
Yeah, and a lot of teens now, I try to go out to high schools or, like what I do for work now, I'm working with like on my master's and stuff, and I go out to high school talking about like healthy teen relationships, and
yes,
the teens that I do talk to, and some of them are in sports, and I tell them that I ran in college, and I tell them like, look, you have to take your academics seriously,
yes,
and you have to like some of them be freshmen and sophomores. I'm like, your sophomore year in high school is crucial.
It is.
If you bullshit, if you don't take it serious,
if you don't,
like it's over with. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's over with, but you're gonna be, far behind when you could have, taken it seriously.
Yes.
You would have been okay.
Yes.
And if you really want to go to college for a sport, take your academics seriously.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you can be A1 top dog Travis Hunter.
Okay.
But
if you got that GPA, it's like a 1 point something.
Yeah,
baby.
they're gonna be looking like, we can take you, but you're gonna be with academic probation. You don't want to be on that your freshman year.
You don't,
Right.
or you don't want to have like no money. Like I always try to put reels and videos out like about scholarships. People always think it's either full or half. Like no, there's partial, there's books, there's this, there's that. Like. And then there's a lot of times athletes don't understand about different red shirts. Even when I was in college, looked it up. There was an injury. There was an orange, blue, purple. I'm like, I thought it was just, yes. I was like, orange, blue, purple. I'm like, I only know about red and injury, but like there really is that different stuff. And I think now these high school coaches and not even to get on them, but it's like they're not preparing their athletes. Like a parent actually asked me, he was like, do you think a high school coach should help, prepare their high schoolers for college? And I said, yes. I mean, if we don't, it's not like we don't know in high school, but it's just like we already have other things in our mind to do.
Right.
And it just would be helpful. Like for me, my high school coach, she went to UNC Charlotte. She knew about, she was still connected with the head coaches and the coaches and everybody there. So that's why I had that connection. It really is about who you know, but it really is about you taking that time and having that high school coach that knows what they're talking about and knows what they're doing instead of just trying to get points for them while they're in, high school. If they really care about you, they would want to help you beyond and even still beyond that instead of just when you're in high school.
Exactly. And I know when I went to Western Carolina, I was talking to a coach, and he was telling me, I don't even want to say his name, but he was telling me, most coaches now, they might recruit, high schoolers, but some coaches are leaning towards JUCO. They're leaning towards like transfer because they're already matured.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to, handle the college life. If you're coming from high school and you're BSing and you're, oh, I want to smoke, I want to do this, I'm not taking my academics seriously. They don't have time for that. They want to create a team that's going to win for them.
Especially,
So a lot of coaches are now taking transfers or JUCOs. So
And it was never like that when we were in high school.
yeah,
Like
it
this
wasn't.
transfer and all this, like no, like so many teams now are mainly of transfer people, and it was never heard of. Like transfer portal wasn't as big when we was in school. I mean, I was maybe looking into the transfer portal maybe somewhat my sophomore year, but then the pandemic happened, so I was like, okay, I can't visit schools, and
Yeah.
girl, you know me and these germs. I was like, I don't know, you know, I want to travel, and I don't know what's going on with this mess, but like they are heavily now using the portals, and it's kind of good thing that they are now to give people a lot more chances, and it's so open because I think when we were in school, you had to at least be with the school for about a year or a couple of years before you can transfer.
Exactly.
Or if you did transfer, you had to wait for a year to compete.
Yeah. You did transfer. You had to wait a year to compete, so you were wasting your time.
Basically, you only get 4 or 5 years at the most if you in college. Like I think the first person I think remember put that ahead and actually made that a big issue was Tara Davis.
Oh.
You remember when she was I think she was transferring from Georgia to Texas.
Yes, Texas.
Yes,
she went from
she
Georgia
put
to
out
Texas,
a whole video about it, and I was like, dang, like they're really not trying to let her go. But I mean, college coaches to see that as competition. Like, why would we want to lose somebody like Tara Davis to Texas and they get points and beat us? You know, and it's understandable, but it's like I'm so glad now that kids are able to just transfer and keep go where they can and do as soon as they get to the school instead of like having to waste the whole year just training basically.
Yeah, and what would you tell like younger viewers or even viewers like our age? Like, what was a mental health thing besides your friends? And I know your like your coach that helped you transition. Like, what was a mental health thing that you took need to in college? Like, you really focused on to like keep you grounded when it came to balance and all of that.
I was mainly still going
besides God
home.
Too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if I say, look, you already know the first. You already know the first person was gonna be God. God for sure. But what really helped was like me still going home and trying as much as I could to go still in my church. But what really kind of kept me grounded was still just doing what I love to do. Like I love to take a nap, y'all. I'm sorry. I love to sleep. I love to sleep, eat, like watch me a good little crime show, First 48 or something like that.
Yes.
Just doing what I
crime.
want, so I'm not so like feeling like, oh my God, I have to do what I do. I still made sure to time manage a lot. Like I would be in the study hall from like during the week from like as soon as I got home around 8 till about like 12, 1, 2 in the morning. Luckily our dorm wasn't that far from the library in a safe way, I could maneuver.
Yeah.
Because my mom knew where I was, the little pathway to go into the library. Lord, she would be so upset. But I just still made sure to at least get all my stuff what I need to do, have all the handle and just enough time to just, okay, I just need a woosah, just sit down and just, do what I want to do. Because it can sometimes be a lot and you think you got so much on your brain, but if you just don't take the time, 2 seconds, just thank God, tell you God like, hey, I need a little time, I need a little second, just show that for me. And even sometimes it just be like rest sometimes. It's never really resting, but just to clear your mind and get yourself ahead. If that's you want to play some video games or if you just want to go play basketball or if you just want to cook or watch TV, do something for you that kind of help your mind, relax. If you want to do your hair, whatever you want to do, that's to help you calm your mind down because sometimes you might not have your friends or whoever around to kind of talk you down or help you, or sometimes you may not just want to talk to somebody. It's not like not want to talk, but it's really just for you. You need that peace within yourself because there be times I'm like, look, y'all, I'm missing a couple of my first 48 episodes. I need to sit down and watch it or something. I need to, man.
I love me some First 48. Like I'm a crime fanatic.
It. I am. My mom, she used to always have me watching the ID channels. ID and Lifetime.
Me and your mom like the same. My mom is at home right now watching a crime show.
That's what I said. Or something with Lifetime or ID. She's gonna be like, you need to come look at this. I'm like, Mom, no, I'll look at it if I have a little time. But I still try to take a little time out to do that. Because Lord, if not, or if I'm traveling, got some time to kill before the meet, I'll be watching that. So, and there's baddies come on today, so they already know.
Baddies. But
oh my God, yes.
I think that's a great way to like balance your mental health. Me, I journal a lot.
Yeah.
And when I'm upset, when I'm even happy, if someone pisses me off, anything, I'm in there writing. Like I might burn a hole in the notebook. Like how hard
I wish
I'm
my
writing.
handwriting was so nice. If I start writing, and I'm like, dang, I don't even know what I wrote on this paper. I'm like, oh dang, I was like, dang, I don't know. We just keep going.
We gotta write down something. We gotta take our emotions out.
Yes.
Going back to professional. So, what can you tell the viewers what team you run for professionally?
Yes. So
Give a little
shout out. So I run for Seek Elites. It's named after our coach, but it's Seek Elite because, like you said, we are an elite team. We do have elite people on my team. Now I'm gonna shout my team out: Quinera, Kamar, Rima Davis, Matthew Bowling, Jakari Patterson, Waddlin Johnson, Aaliyah Abrams, Blair. Oh my God, Angel Frank. My team is just so amazing. I love them all so much. We are a godly team. We make sure we pray before we start. And it's no excuses. Everybody put their heart out. No sandbagging. My coach, he always try to get me like I'm sandbagging. I'm like, no, coach, you don't tell us the reps when we're running. Like, he don't say the times. So it's like, yes.
He doesn't say the time?
He don't say the time until you cross that finish line.
So he ain't yelling like in the middle, like 45.
No. And it's so funny because my teammate Quinera told me that when we first met each other. She was like, no, he don't say no time. So I'm like, ooh. Okay, pacing. That's it. But like that's an issue that I really need to work on. Just learning how to pace, even if I don't know, I need to feel it instead of just because you're not gonna always hear your coach. Because even when I tell people, even when you're running, you're not gonna hear people.
You don't hear
people. Like the only thing you hear is that gun. And maybe the gun again if you got to come back. That's the only time. That's the only thing you hear. People be like, I screamed your name. Did you hear? No.
Baby, I didn't hear you, baby.
I didn't hear you.
For my life.
All I think I hear was my hard breath running and then my feet stomping on that ground. That's the only thing I heard.
Literally. It's so crazy. Like, people who don't run track, like, for a living, whether it's high school, whatever, pro,
yes.
When that gun, like you said, when that gun goes off, all you hear is,
like,
you don't hear nothing.
And maybe the girl that's coming up on you or the left or right. That's it. That's the only people you hear. Like, I just don't hear it. So, like, that's why I got to make sure during practice, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I'm hitting my reps, hitting the times that he won't, because my teammates will get on me if I don't hit them reps. Like, look, you got to learn how to pace. I'm like, I know, it's just.
That's good teammates, though.
Yes, because my teammates now, they will get on me. But I'm so glad I have actually good veterans on my team and actually girls and boys that I can train with, talk to, and we all put each other up. It's never our coach like, nope, no negative, no nothing like that. We ain't got time for that. Mm-hmm. We have these championships to get on. We have these championships. We have the USA team to meet. We got these medals to get. We got goals and everything to get.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what does a typical training day look like for y'all?
So in the morning, if it's like really cold outside, probably below 50 degrees, we'll go into indoor track and that'll be around like 8:30. So we'll all warm up. Do about 2 or 3 laps, and then what's next we do? Lord, I know we do this every day, 6 days a week. We'll do some leg swings. We'll do like some low walks, and then we'll do like mobility, then drills, then accelerations, and then probably depending on the week that coach has us. Sometimes a hard week, easy week. I think this coming up will be a easy week because we don't run till Saturday. So we'll probably do like some longer distance stuff, maybe some 300s, some 200s, and then probably throughout the week we'll get to like a little bit shorter, maybe like some blocks or some technique runs that we'll do. And then I think we'll be able to lift maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. Out of season we would lift 3 times a week, and in season we would lift 2 times, but normally we'll try to at least lift maybe once out of the week. Yeah. Because if you try to lift close to like Wednesday, Thursday, and you run Friday, you'll feel heavy legs. Yeah, heavy legs. So that's about a typical like training week, about 6 days a week. If we're not, having any meets, but maybe like 2 or 3 days out of the week if we do have meets or traveling or stuff like that.
Okay. So what has been the most memorable race for you? If you can think of it, doesn't have to be professionally.
I know.
It can be when you was at UNC Charlotte.
Yeah.
Or in high school.
I want to say what probably the race that really got me into going into pro, it was the Budapest Trials in Oregon. Mm-hmm. I qualified for that race at High Point. I ran like a low 51, and then my coach was like, "Oh my gosh, like you qualified for the USATF trials to go to to compete for Budapest trials." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Okay, I was like, okay, let's just see." And I trained over the summer, and I ran that race, went to Oregon, and it was so amazing. I had Sidney McLaughlin in my heat for both the heats.
I watched. Okay, I'm sure I didn't watch that race because my dad had told me, he was like, "Yeah, that's family. Like just way before I met you." And I was like, I've heard like your name was buzzing, like around town. So we watched it, and
honey, I was extremely nervous because that was literally like my first like a big meet because I've never made it to nationals, never ever. I always get to regionals, and just always wouldn't be able to make it to the next round or something like that. And so that was really like, okay, a pivotal meet for me. So I was like, okay, Maya, just go have fun. Let's just see what we're going to do, And I ran that first heat, and I literally said to myself, okay, I didn't make it to the second round. I was like, I did what I did. And my coach is coming with the biggest hug. And I'm like, what you trying to hug me for? I ain't make it, if a coach, if you ain't make it, he not going to be happier.
What? You try to avoid him?
Try to avoid him like, okay, up now. I didn't do it. So I was on the corner like this. I was like, hey, what you coming to hug me? He was like, you made it. I was like, made it what? He's like, you made it to the second round. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, that's not what I expected. And then I had Cindy McLaughlin in my heat again. And I was like, it's actually good because, actually, somebody to push and everything. Yeah, because she's a good pusher. Good push to use. And I was like, okay, let's just see. Maybe we'll make it to the third round. Mm-hmm. So I think I was like maybe 1 or 2 slots from making it to the final round. But that race was really like, okay, I think I can really do this pro stuff. Transition from college to pro. If I can go to this meet with the training that I had over the summer, who knows, what else I could do, for pass into my pro years. So that was really a big meet that I'll always remember. And I really enjoyed it too. So that'll always be a memorable meet. There's some memorable meets now, but but that was probably the biggest probably one I'll always probably cherish and remember. Okay, this is something you can do, Maya. Let's never give up. You was in college doing it. Let's see how you being a pro now can turn into.
Yeah. And Sydney is the fastest female 400 hurdle runner
so
in the world.
Smooth. Yes. She runs so smooth. And I'm like, gosh, girl, you got it in the hurdles. But me, without hurdles, I got it. But with the hurdles, God, no. I think she's going to start doing 400 flat.
I seen that on the blogs. And if she does, baby, that's people are gonna be hating.
Yeah.
I'm already knowing they're gonna be hating.
They're gonna be hating. It's like we need that though. We Team USA. We got to keep that. I'm sorry. We gotta keep that. We just,
When the Olympics come, we might need her for the open four.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, her and Alexis Holmes, them two, hey, we'll take them two because we need it. We need it, Lord. Cause Paulina from Dominican Republic, man, that girl can run.
What?
That girl can run.
Them DR girls can run.
They can run. Them DR girls can run. I give it to them now. They can run. I'm like, y'all got it now. Hey, but USA, I'm always going to be Team USA no matter what. So
yeah. So when you ran against Sydney, well, not even just against her, but big competition.
Yeah. How
do you handle that? Do you just block it out? Are you actually worried? Are you really worried? In the back of your head, or are you just I'm not tripping?
I really just try to tell myself, you always have them nerves, but I always just try to tell myself, man, just have fun, man. That girl bleed the same as you. That girl, walk, breathe, and everything same as you. So it's just it ain't gonna make no difference. She might have stuff going on. Everybody got stuff going on. So it's just just go out there and run your race. Don't go away from the plan. Don't deviate, because if you try to do a little too much, then now you're like, oh my God, she ran up on me and tensed up, and now I'm just, I just try to at least go and out there have fun as much as I can.
Yeah.
That's all best you can do. The more you have fun, the more or less mistakes you have, the more or less tense you are, and you might surprise yourself. The more tense you are, you have fun. The less tense, you're like, all right, I'm having actually fun with this.
Yeah, and I had to learn that from my coach in college. My coach, I give him a shout out, Jesse Norman, from Western Carolina. He used to tell us just run your race.
Yeah.
I used to be nervous, about the shit in my pants.
Yeah,
really. Freshman, sophomore year in college, I was like that. And then once I got a little bit older, you mature over the years.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what?
Yeah.
If I run bad, I run bad. If I run good, I run. This is my life. This is what I want to do. This is my race.
Exactly.
Other girls got stuff going on. That ain't nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
This is my stuff. So I'm going to focus on this.
Yep.
But definitely run your race.
Yeah. They'll be, you can, be, helpful, loving after the race or beforehand. But, that's like competition. Hey, I got to get to this line before they do. I'm ready. It's me and the clock. It's not, I think about not even me and the girls. It's me and that clock. Because when that clock go, I'm trying to race to actually pass that clock, because I got to make sure I cross that line and make that clock stop. But it's so funny. My high school coach, DJ David Shaw, He was always like, look, the faster you run, the faster you get it over with.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
The faster you run, the faster you get over with. So I'm like, all right. Because I just feel like the more slow I run or, just take my time, I'm like, that finish line get farther and farther. So like he said, the faster you run, the faster you get it over with. And the more you can lay down on that ground. You're like, you're right.
You're right.
Because I surely did that ground after I run the 400.
And it was crazy when I was in college. I used to do the same thing. Well, I used to kind of have to use the restroom, and then I would get in the blocks and if you have to use the restroom, you're gonna run fast.
Yes,
because you want to get to the toilet, so you
exactly.
As soon as you cross the line, run to the
bathroom. Like, do I hold it or do I just do I let it all go? Because woo, girl, if you don't hit that bathroom before afternoon time, woo, girl.
And then they be so packed. Like
It'd be
everybody,
so packed. I be looking at the boys' bathroom. I'm like, maybe if I take a chance to just go in there real quick, come out. It's a long line for the girls' bathroom. I'm like, what are we doing? We got to take our time now, go in that bathroom now.
So I know now in media with women in sports, it's always a problem. Angel Reese, Kaylin Clark, who else? Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Have you ever faced any problems as a female in track? Or whether it's with other females or whether it's with, guys or coaches, or maybe you miss out on an opportunity because you were a female. Have you ever faced any backlash with being a female in the sport?
I've faced some, but not so much to the point where it's kind of held me back. I always just think, if if it's not what God wants, if it feels uneasy in my spirit, then it must not be for me. So sometimes I just don't try to push things on it. I try to be as loving as I can, because God always has to say, be as loving as you can, and the good will always come to you. If you always have the same heart or evil heart, you ain't gonna, it's not come from God.
Right.
So if I feel like it's uneasy in my spirit, I just don't go with it, or I just try to, push back the noise when people are like, oh, track, you just running in an oval or this, and that. And I'm like, well, I just say, look, you come run my 400 for me then.
Yeah, you do it.
And come running under 51 seconds then if you want to come do it. Hey, that's all I say. But I just still try to, be as loving and congratulating and everybody, besides women. Mainly women, too, because we really need that. Because sometimes, sometimes you need to hear from a girl oh, thank you so much, or be loving. Or sometimes after I'm done running, I'll go congratulate the girls I ran against. I'm hugging them, say, hey, you did so good, talking with them. And then we'll just turn out to be friends for life after, change numbers and all that. So I just try to at least put that in because I want girls younger than us to not see it we're competition on that track or whatever, but you can still be loving with each other after. You always gotta have that loving heart, and then you'll do good with your performance if you have a loving heart, basically.
So do you think women's sports has evolved, from your time being in sports, especially with NILs?
Yeah, I do feel like it has evolved. We having a little bit more avenues and everything that we can do, and we can actually now be ourselves, instead of just a cookie cutter, Some people are I know branding and people feel like that's very important, but just being you and how that is, it'll help somebody be like, dang, I don't have to be a cookie cutter or put myself in this little box to try to fit, still, still be professional, still, have that, sense, but it's now we're so open, we can do as we want. We got, the Sha'Carri's, how she can dress how she wants, basically how FloJo was. We have those outspoken athletes like Serena, we actually have those avenues. So it's be yourself, if you, feel like you're spunky and all this, just show your personality, and I promise you'll be an inspiration to somebody, even if you don't never talk to them or hear from them.
Yeah.
That'll be an inspiration to you, and then you'll feel good about yourself, basically.
And even going back to Serena, at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And people were spazzing because she was crip walking, and they just had a problem with that. And even when she crip walked, when I forgot what competition it was years back.
It was the Olympics. I think it was
probably
it was the Olympics because I always see the jacket color, the gifts that people put of her crip walk, and I'm like, what Olympics was that? Because that was probably the best, I'll say, USA team colors that they had the uniform on that one. But she did. I think it was London. But she did that, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, why is she doing that?" I'm like, she did that she did that before. She's gonna continue to do that. She's from that area. Show yourself off. Be Tara Davis, she always wear a cowboy hat and do what she does in countryside.
Little cowboy boots.
Is that cowboy boots and all that? I'm from the country. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna be the countryside of it. Show it, love it. Show yourself. Like I said, there's always gonna be people who say this and that about you or whatever. But if you just, if you don't listen to the Lord and God, then you're just listening to earthly things, and those are the people you're not to approve of. I'm looking for God to tell me job well done.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anybody else to tell me job well done. I'm looking for the Lord. My coach, actually, him tell me job well done, but like definitely the Lord. I'm like, look, if I'm following his path and everything, look, it's not gonna bother me, because if I just let all these noise and all that mess, Lord, I be done try to kill myself to try to, be what all these people want in the world.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what people need to hear. Don't you need to live for you? Don't
Live for you.
Don't live for the
As
next
long as you
person.
living for God, it'll life for God now.
Yes.
But other than that, like, live for you, man. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy. Like, look good, feel good, and you'll do so great in things in life.
And even speaking on the Super Bowl, so who are you going for? Sorry, get off topic.
Girl,
Who are you going for?
So I'm not really, like, I don't have a specific team. My main team, it's only because, like, my dad is a Steelers fan, so my mom is a Cowboy.
I'm a
so
Steelers fan.
Yes. I can't go for the Cowboys because I just can't. Gotta go with the winning team. But I was really going for the Chiefs because, like, I watch.
Wait, so you were going for the Chiefs?
I mean, the
Eagles.
Eagles, yes.
I was about to say pause.
No. I was going for the Eagles. Cause like I watched football and stuff with my uncles, but I started watching a lot of football now with my boyfriend, and he was telling me about how like the defense for the Eagles is really good. And girl, they were getting a stop.
Down.
Them doggone Chiefs, they didn't even get midfield until like almost the third quarter. So just seeing that team and everything from Philly, man, it was just nice. It was really nice. So I was going for the Eagles, We do have somebody from the Chiefs, only one person that's from back home, Joshua Williams. He went to Fable State.
Okay.
So that's only the little bit of Chiefs that I was rooting for. Just him. But
he's from there.
Yeah, he's from Fable. Yeah, he's from Fable. So... But other than that, the Eagles, I was definitely going for them. I was like, okay, like I like this, this is good. This reminds you of old football back in the days growing up.
I was ready to see something new. Like I'm tired. I was tired of seeing the Chiefs win, but and I also betted on the game.
Exactly.
I betted on FanDuel, y'all. Y'all use FanDuel. That's the best betting app. But bet responsibly, okay?
Yes.
Gamble responsibly. Don't get on there and be BS.
People who voted for the Eagles, I know y'all had a good amount of pity.
But the thing is, I should have just betted on who was gonna win instead of like their stats. Like I betted on the Eagles and like the Chiefs. Like Pat Mahomes gonna have like 200 plus like throwing yards and stuff like that. But he didn't get anything.
No, he didn't get nothing.
I'm like
that defense, man. He didn't get nothing. I was like, gosh. He held it up. I give it to him. I give him props because he was that one sack he had like 3 different guys hit him. I'm like, where the defense at? Y'all let y'all quarterback but he's strong though. I give it to him. That man is strong for that because that defense was not let up on nothing, sir. You wouldn't get nothing.
Nothing.
Travis Kelce, whatever that boy name is, wasn't getting a single thing.
Okay. So one more question. Well, probably 2 more. When it comes to like the young females out here, what advice would you give them? Like, flat out, like, be 100%. Like, don't try to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Be 100. Like, tell them what it is in this real life. Like, when it comes to track.
Well, like I said, you got to just put yourself in the stomping grounds. Like, I come from a little small town, Sticks area, 1 high school, 3 middle schools, a couple, elementary schools. Like, you got to put yourself on the map. You just have to. Like, and it's now with all this media and everything, put yourself on the map. Show yourself. That's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Like, I have a YouTube, and I just started it probably like last year, the year before that. But like, start that YouTube. Start something. Put your brand stuff out there. There's something for everybody out there. Like,
yes.
I don't do a lot of the makeup and stuff like that, but I did like a little skincare thing or whatever, or cooking, and my audience like that, or even they just like my my track videos and my vlogs when I travel. Like, just show yourself, show who you is, because then you can inspire somebody for track that might not know it. Because a lot, when we was growing up, we had like our family who was doing track or doing the sport showing us, but now some people don't have like those older generations to come talk to them and be like, hey, this is how this sport is, or how, or they don't even have coaches that try to get out there to get the kids to want to move your body. So as a female, get yourself out there, move your body. And it's not even have to be being a sport athlete. Like, get in the gym, get yourself moving. Like, you don't never want to just be sitting down and rest. Like, I know I was saying I was tired today and I wanted to rest, but like, you got to get your body moving. And the more you sit down and just don't do nothing to yourself, there's more, years you're putting yourself towards an early grave. Always get yourself moving. That's just stretching, yoga, whatever, eating. Just do something to make sure you're doing something good for yourself, not just for anybody else.
Right.
So,
and,
do you.
And with social media now, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah,
on anything.
you can.
On anything. So, I like your advice. I'm
Thank you,
take some of your
Look,
advice.
I just tried this. I'm telling you that YouTube now. It's a lot. It takes a lot of work, but like you know, just put yourself into it. It's just there. You know, I know it's a little bit easier with Instagram and TikTok because of the reels, but like definitely invest into that YouTube because there's a broader audience that you can hit, and somebody like I said, you may not know or ever that you touch, but you'll know at the end of the day. You'll feel good. You know that person feel good or you touch somebody. I always pray and say like, Lord, I hope someday or today I touch somebody, you know, no matter what avenue or whatever I'm doing. And I hope to continue that each day I'm touching one person on this earth here at least.
Yeah.
Even if I don't never get to see them, talk to them, you know. I know the Lord knows that I talked to them or touched them.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I thank you for coming and doing this podcast with me, doing this episode with me.
You are family. You already know anything you need. I don't care. Family always. And I love you so much for it. Thank you for having me on here. So.
Yeah. And I want everyone to subscribe, like, comment, okay, and share.
Yes,
okay.
please.
This was a good episode, and some of y'all might need some of this advice. Okay.
Yes.
So thank y'all for watching, and hopefully I get to see y'all on the next episode. Thank you.